Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. I skipped yesterday with a video upload simply because I had the video in the can waiting to go, but I skipped that based on the Charlie Kirk assassination. I felt like out of respect to him, I didn't want to take eyeballs away from what was going on because the suspect had not been caught yet, and still, as of the recording of this video, hasn't been caught either. I think it's important that just like when the Butler, Pennsylvania thing took place, whenever the attempted assassination on Trump took place, a lot of citizen journalism took place. And I believe that answered a lot of questions that to this day still have not been answered by the federal government or anybody else, FBI, any of those folks involved. So I feel like this is a critical time right now because things are fresh, and unfortunately, we, myself and you guys, are likely going to be tasked with getting the information. Because I believe this has a lot of the tone of the Butler assassination attempt, where somebody clearly didn't want the answer to get out there. This morning, there was a post shared, and thank you to Mr. Guns and Gear for putting this out. He is the first place that I saw this. If you don't follow him already, go follow him on X. That's where you're going to see the best stuff out there. And quick side note, I will be doing plenty on the Charlie Kirk stuff. Right now, I feel like we're still in that phase where we're looking for somebody. So let's stay on the path. Let's not get too distracted right now. That's why my content is going to be a little bit different. Believe me, I have plans to put my video together showing the people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk and a multitude of other things. Right now, I'm concerned with, if it's possible, finding who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This post came out from Louder with Crowder. Of course, this is from Steven Crowder. And this was interesting to me because it shows that it's from the Department of Justice's Teams group. Again, here's another leak from within the Trump administration. I think they need to get a handle on that. But there's some interesting stuff in there. If you'll bear with me, I'm going to read this to you. It states, on September 10, 2025 at approximately 12:24 p.m., conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at the Utah Valley University in Utah. Mr. Kirk was speaking at the university as part of the American Comeback Tour. Multiple SLC 1 and 3 agents responded immediately. The suspect fired one shot from an elevated position on a rooftop in an adjacent building on the campus, and surveillance video shows the suspect jumping off and fleeing the area on foot. ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser .30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. The spent cartridge was still chambered in addition to 3 unspent rounds in the top-fed magazine. All cartridges, this is the part here I want to pay attention to, all cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. An emergency trace has been submitted, and ATF SLC is working leads generated by the trace. So I'm just going to stop it right there because the rest of it is just normal text that you would expect in a report like this. A couple of things I want to point out. First of all, the Mauser is not originally made like that in a .30-06 round. I believe it's equivalent to an 8mm round is what a World War I and II Mausers might have been used in. However, the Mauser rifle, specifically the Mauser 98 action, was adapted to fire the .30-06 Springfield cartridge. While the original Mauser designs, such as those produced by the German company Mauser, were not chambered in .30-06, many countries and manufacturers later modified or built the rifle based on the Mauser 98 action to accommodate this specific cartridge, particularly during World War I. For example, the U.S. Springfield 1903 rifle, which was influenced by Mauser designs, was chambered in .30-06. And various custom or military surplus Mauser rifles were rebarreled or rechambered for .30-06 in the 20th century. So this will likely give us what we're looking for here. Now the claim is this is an imported rifle. So they're talking about a tracing program. You know, I have very low confidence in the ATF tracing program. It's one of those things where, yeah, if you're looking for the original owner of that firearm, awesome, trace it. Find out who originally had it, like all the gangland shootings. You want to know who originally bought it, who it was stolen from, then trace the gun. But you're not going to find your criminal based on a trace. They don't solve crimes like that. That's just, it's not a thing. So the tracing is probably a futile effort. But yeah, go ahead and do it. It's possible when it was imported that the dude here or the organization responsible may have ties to whoever purchased it originally once it got imported. Because once it got imported, that's where the tracing would begin. Obviously, if it was imported from, say, Germany, they're not going to trace it back to the original owner in Germany. Once it got imported, that's where the trace will begin. So, again, that's how, if that original purchaser was the one who had the gun in its immediate control within the last day, then they might get close to who they're looking for. Remember, they haven't caught the guy yet. But the biggest thing that I want to point out in reference to this particular memo or leaked document, the cartridges were engraved with transgender and anti-fascist ideology. I don't know what your thoughts are on who might have done this. There are a lot of people out there that are ignorant from what Charlie's actual message is. When you don't want to learn, and you don't want to expand your knowledge about whether it's social events, social topics, things in politics, you can be willfully ignorant and choose not to learn anything. And in a lot of cases, these people that hate Charlie Kirk, that's who they are. They're either really lazy or they don't want to watch him because somebody, the media, somebody on the left, has told them Charlie is a bad person. They've convinced them of that. Remember, a lot of this country cannot think for themselves. I know it's hard for you guys to relate to that because most of you are free thinkers. You're independent thinkers. You poke holes in stories. You question me on stories. And I welcome that. It's because we all think for ourselves. You don't rely on me to think for you. You listen to what I have to say and you go, that doesn't sound right. And you question me on it. Great. We should all be doing that. The wackos on the far left simply don't do that. They're either too lazy, too distracted, or whatever. And they let somebody else think for them. And they let people convince them that Charlie Kirk was a bad guy. So your first reaction whenever you see, because he has been outspoken, and very outspoken about the trans community, if you look at what they're saying here, boy, I find it really hard to believe that this is what really happened. If this person who committed this crime escaped, why would you leave clues that might trace this back to you? Think about this. That's why I don't have any faith in the tracing of the firearm. If you're the original owner of the firearm, or somebody in your family is, and you put something on the round that narrows down who they should be looking for, and then you run away, and you, at this point, successfully escape, that doesn't make sense. If you truly were looking to get away with your crime, why would you leave any clues? I'm not saying this person would have been, if this were a trans person, would have been a sharp, all there person. Not saying that. But they wouldn't have gotten this far. If this person was this sloppy, where they're the original owner of the gun, knowing it would be traced, they stage it near the site instead of taking it somewhere, throwing it in a river or somewhere else. So they leave it at the site knowing that is clue number one. They got the murder weapon, right? Then you leave clues on the rounds in the gun? That's wanting to get caught. But they escaped. And again, so far, successfully. Those things don't go together. You either leave a trail of clues and you off yourself, which is usually what happens. We saw that with the trans shooter a couple weeks ago. Or you go out in a blaze of glory. You don't leave clues like this when you want to make a successful getaway. I believe, and this is just my opinion, as much as you hear me talk about gender pretending people and the mental illnesses that they have, I don't think this was done by a trans person. Just my opinion. I think this is bait. I think putting something like this is a massive distraction to have somebody put these types of clues on a round like that. Because let's not forget, we're talking about less than 0.5% of the American population subscribes to this mental illness. I doubt somebody who just sympathizes with the trans crowd would be the one who would do something like this. Because again, their intention obviously was to escape at this point. So leaving clues would have been absolutely stupid. And I'm certainly not saying that we have an Einstein that we're dealing with right here. So far, though, they seem to be pretty sharp because they've gotten away with it so far. They managed to be in position. They managed to pull off the shot. They managed to make the shot, successful shot in their eyes. They managed to get away and elude FBI, everybody else, for almost a day now. Idiots don't usually stumble into situations like that and be this successful. So I'm calling BS on that. I'm not saying that's not what they found. I'm calling BS on that, narrowing us down to who did this. Now, I could be completely wrong. And when and if I am, I'll say I was wrong about that. This just doesn't make sense to me. This is too easy. It's just way too... It's like everyone was waiting for clues, and when it came out, they were like, yes, I knew it. And I even thought the same thing. But you immediately have to take a step back and go, wait a minute. That was a little too easy. That was like throwing your bait into the lake right on top of a bass's head. You know, it just, it reeks of easiness to me. But there's a lot of theories going on out there right now. A lot. And a lot of people say, oh, let's wait till all the information comes out. You know what? You're getting manufactured information when you wait for that information to come out. When it comes out and you read it and suddenly you go back to look at it and it is gone, that means it's being manufactured. That means somebody is purposely, whether it's the social media sites or whether it's deeper than that, that means that somebody is trying to control the narrative. So I think now is the time to be plugged in as much as possible. And I ask all of you out there, please monitor YouTube, please monitor X, monitor all your social media sites, monitor Reddit, wherever. Go look at all these places and stay plugged in and tuned into them, because I think that's where you're going to get the purest information out there that help point this out. Because somebody out there that's doing a better job than me, that's investigating and looking into this, may not have that piece of evidence. And because it's probably not going to last very long because it will be taken down, that's valuable. So if you find anything, you see anything, before even reading through it, screenshot it, because now you have a copy of it on your device. Guys, I'm going to be coming out with a lot more about this. I just felt like this leaked document from Steven Crowder was important to put out there, because immediately after I looked at it, it was gone. I went back and looked and it had disappeared already. Now I think it's back up now. I think Crowder has already put it back up. But clearly it was taken down right away. So somebody's not wanting this to be out there. Again, it does appear that it's a leak from the DOJ. Could have been the DOJ said, no, take that down. We don't want that out there. But there is an ongoing investigation. To this moment where I'm putting this video out, they have not caught the person responsible. And again, I'm going to repeat, I'm not so sure about the stuff put on the side of the round indicating fighting for trans people or against fascism. That seems too easy. Again, as I stated earlier, seems like bait to me. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's hanging around.